The Pinion Folk were a new race introduced in Elden Ring Nightreign that hail from a land far to the west of the Lands Between. They share their appearance with the divine bird warriors introduced to us in Shadow of the Erdtree, but whether or not they share a deeper connection is unknown. It's fair to say that these people, with their avian features, share a deeper tie to the primordial crucible than others, but their entire civilization is likely to have been separated from the Lands Between, and its goings-on. The Guardian is the last of his kind, the only remaining member of the Pinion Folk, as they've all been killed by their enemies, which employed dark magics to incapacitate their wings. With no flock and no purpose, he finds his way to the Round Table Hold, ready to stand against the night, alongside those who have taken up the cause. Through this fight, he finds new purpose, but before he can truly claim it, the past must be set right. This is the story of the Guardian. Thank you for joining us as we take a closer look at the Guardian and his tale of triumph over a tragic past. This is one of the most straightforward stories Nightreign has to offer, but it doesn't make it any less interesting. If this is your first time finding the channel, thanks for sitting down with us today. And if you're a longtime subscriber, welcome back. If you have any questions regarding the Guardian or his story, let us know in the comments, because we do our best to respond to every one. With duos now on the horizon, I strongly suggest you check out our Discord, where we're building an active Nightreign community you can join so you never have to play with randos. You may even find your new partner. If you enjoy our content, please consider subscribing, but no pressure. Your viewership is always more than enough for us. With that said, let's return to the story of the Guardian, the shield of the Nightfarers. The Guardian's journal entries go back and forth between memories of the old flock and the new, so I'm going to start with the old flock. Before he has made his way to the Round Table Hold, long before his people lost their ability to soar through the sky, the Guardian was born in the Winged Realm, becoming a knight of the Pinion Folk, sworn to protect its lands and peoples. In the splintered memories of the Guardian are two flocks. The old flock from his home nation, who he failed to protect, who died, and the new flock, who fare with him against the night. This is the memory of the old flock. In formation they took to the skies, cutting through the air with the ease of a single living being. From his vantage amongst the clouds, the Guardian spied the citadel below. A hail of spears came hurtling from the ramparts. This was all part of their duty, as winged warriors of the Scapular Regiment. The Guardian's corps took the van to shield the greater flock from the incoming projectiles, before receding to allow the Talon Regiment to plunge into the fortress. It would not stand for long. It was through battle that the flock was whole, until the cursed blades would come to rob them of their wings. The Pinion Folk were once locked in battle against an enemy we never come to fully know. They had the edge against these people with their command of the sky, and ability to fight as one. The Pinion Folk are said here to fight as if they were one living being. Their precision in flying together, defending together, attacking together, made them a force to be reckoned with. A force their enemies could only defeat by appealing to darker forces. This is a memory of the old flock. The Guardian was the sole survivor of a war in which there was no hope of victory. It was in battle that the flock was whole, and could rebuff any and all who dared face them. Knights of the Pinion Folk feared not death. It was their duty and their pride to give themselves for the sake of the whole. The flock would always grow new feathers. But with ease it was that the cursed blades stole from the flock their wholeness and unity, by instilling in them the fear of losing their flight. Before the curse, the Guardian's shield was powerless. The implication here is that the unity the Guardian's forces prided themselves on fell apart the moment their wings could be stripped from them. This enemy had found a way to imbue a curse on the Pinion Folk through their blades that would remove their ability to fly. These cursed blades may seem reminiscent of the Black Knives, but I think it's important to note that they are only said to have the ability to steal the Pinion Folk's flight, not kill them. So it was that their loss in this great war came from within. The flock could no longer fight as one, if the many were deserting the battle to keep their wings. So the Guardian's entire unit fell, leaving him the only survivor. With no flock, no purpose, and without the ability to fly, he wandered, until eventually finding the Round Table Hold. Upon doing so, he met the recluse, who saw that his wings were limited and did what she could to help. This is the memory of the new flock, of a meeting between the Guardian and a witch, both of whom were guided to the Round Table Hold. There, though I doubt thou wilt soar the skies as once thou didst, so murmured the recluse, gently stroking the wing in sympathy. The Guardian felt the curse that eats away at his wing recede, its progress halted. He thanked her with courtesy, but the recluse just shook her head in silence. "'Tis nothing. 'Twas for such times I learned what I did." The Guardian turned his eye to a nearby pile of books. Perhaps, if armed with knowledge, I might have saved them, he thought. It was from thence that the Guardian began to address the recluse as his teacher. This fated meeting ended up saving what little ability the Guardian still had to soar. If not for the efforts of the recluse, he would be unable to take to the sky to save his allies, or use his wings to kick up the storm around his feet. From this point on, the Guardian began studying under the recluse, learning all he could about the night and its power, so that it could never take from others the way the curse took from him. In his research, he reaches out to his fellow Nightfarers, first asking the Executor if he has ever seen the Erd Tree, as it is now absent from the land they explore, then giving the Revenant a task so that she might prove herself a stalwart ally. While he was ready to accept her from the beginning, he saw the opportunity to have her prove her worth to the rest of the Nightfarers, while also providing him with research materials so that they might all better understand the Knight's power. Unfortunately, not every interaction with his fellow Nightfarers was so pleasant. This is a memory of the new flock, of a lesson learned at the Round Table Hold. "Just put it on, I fixed it up for you, friend." The man known as the Raider was bold and boisterous. "I knew it would be perfect for a fine knight of your stature." He was also a terrible meddler, and willful in his way. Having had the helm foisted upon him, the Guardian instinctively batted it away. He knew the Raider had meant no harm, but he had simply laid down his helm long ago. Ever since the day he lost the flock he failed to protect. The Raider had attempted to repair the helm once worn by the Guardian long ago, likely thinking he was doing his companion a kindness. But after the Guardian's reaction, the Raider sees the error of his ways.
"I don't know the whole story, but I seem to have done you wrong. I'm sorry, brother."
The Guardian then speaks with the Iron Menial, who's concerned after seeing the confrontation.
"I hesitate to ask, good champion, but would you mind explaining what happened between you and the Raider? You speak of the chivalric band to which you belonged. How did you come to lose them, as you say?" "I see. A tragic tale indeed, and your form heartbreaking, though it boggles the mind to think there was an attack which your defensive prowess could not overcome. Indeed, what could have caused such a thing? Oh, the scarring. This is the work of an accursed blade. I once read a story in a very old tome about a realm far west of the lands between, where fighting erupted. One side was comprised of winged men. They were robbed of these wings by an accursed weapon known as a nectaris. Countless pinion folk were killed, while their kingdom's fate hung in the balance. Or so the story goes. I never imagined I would meet a living victim. The accursed weapon, the nectaris, is chronicled in a certain tome. But I'm afraid there are no other clues. The tome was part of a 3-volume collection, and 2 of the set are missing. If I could have read their contents, I may have been able to help you." Good champion. We must pursue this further. We must determine the origin of the curse, to keep history from repeating itself. The books might yet be found in the lands between, and I too would be most gladdened if you were to find them.
The menial had given the Guardian hope. There was a series of books that could hold the truth behind the curse that afflicted his people. He could potentially not only find vengeance against those responsible, but protect his new flock, which he began to see as true companions. In order to unlock the tomes the menial had available to him, the Guardian needed to seek out a stone stake. This item opens a sealed-away lock, crafted by an ancient civilization, and claimed from a Guardian golem. It's still imbued with an old yet fading magic. It can open locks sealed in a similar manner to the golem. After defeating a golem and taking the stake for himself, he returned to the Iron Menial, and they opened the second volume of the set.
Did you find it? Thank you. Indeed, that's the key we're after. The witch brought the tome to me, bound though it was. But now the seal can be undone. The terrible thing is a product of war. However, the origin of the curse is still frustratingly opaque. Perhaps we shall discover it in the remaining volume.
They learned precious little about the curse, only that it originated with the war and did not exist before this time. But the origins of the curse itself were still opaque. We're given this book after it's unlocked, and it tells us, annals detailing the histories of certain cursed weapons speak of a conflict far to the west. An account mentions one such accursed weapon, called an lemurs. The blade leaves a wound that can never heal, owing to an ancient curse with the power to twist life. A frightful tampon, concocted by a master of curses, under contract to an army determined to achieve victory. The army the Pinion folk did battle with commissioned the curse, and someone was all too willing to create it for them. However, for now, the trail had run cold, and the Guardian was left to his research, raising his beak from time to time to look at his new flock and try to understand his place in it. This is a memory of the new flock. While in the study, in wafted the alluring savor of freshly baked bread. The taciturn warrior must have been in a mind to cook. Led by the aroma in the courtyard, the pirate's bellowing laughter rang out. The archer had an arrow aimed at the big man. The Guardian had no mind to stop their amusement, for he knew they were merely making merry. The swordsman said not a word, and headed to his easel. They were a flock that was far from whole, imbalanced and uneven. He wondered if the word even truly applied. It was around that time that the unfamiliar merchant arrived. The Guardian felt something as he looked over his companions. A kinship was forming, and while it was unlike what he had known, he was already starting to feel protective of the other Nightfarers. So when a new face joined them at the round table, he needed to make sure they posed no threat.
Well, you must be my savior. It is a pleasure to meet you. I am but a humble merchant. I must have strayed into this cheery place at some point, though I know not when or how. I believe you are attempting to rescue the lands between from its plight. Well, I can hardly stand by and do nothing. Allow me to aid you in your quest, even as one who leads a somewhat unusual existence. I'm sure I can be of use. Pardon me. Please, take this to mark the occasion of our acquaintance. It might seem a little worse for wear, but trust me, it remains as potent as ever. It will protect you, my savior. I shall share them out amongst your comrades later. Now please, do take a look at my wares. Welcome, my... goodness gracious, I've sold... Thank you. You truly are a customer like no other. I hope to restock before long. Please, do look forward to it.
Upon completing his business with the merchant, the Guardian turned to leave. However, a dizziness took him, and he collapsed onto the floor, where he would be found by his companions.
Oh, good. You're awake. You gave us such a fright collapsing like that. Your body is in reasonable condition, as far as I can tell. How do you feel? All seems well. Thank goodness.
Rememberest thou the charm thou art given? Indeed. The cause was immaturity. A wish became a curse. I doubt there was any malice involved, but if it had happened in the midst of battle, danger would have abounded.
I have informed everyone who received the charm to dispose of it. There is nothing more to worry about.
As the recluse had said, it was the charm given to him by this unscrupulous merchant that led to his collapse. Whether he knew of the harm it would cause or not, this was a threat that the Guardian could not abide. His flock would not fall victim to anyone's machinations, as long as they stood behind his shield.
Welcome, my savior. What? What's the matter? Ah! What are you doing? Why, my savior, tell me why I don't want to.
After dispatching the merchant, the Guardian finds his ledger. A dubious ledger used by a merchant, filled to the margins with detailed records of transactions. A recent bold entry stands out. Ancient annals conveyed to a demon. This is the clue the Guardian's been looking for. The location of the third tome. The one that would lead him to the truth. However, before he could act on this, a voice filled the space behind him. This is a memory of the new flock. After taking care of the merchant, the Guardian heard a voice coming from behind. "I suppose thou wert protecting thy flock," said the recluse. "Indeed, mistress. I consider our fellows of the Round Table to be as you say." In response, the recluse nodded her head, unspeaking for a moment. Then, "I know the laws of thy people. Thou wilt not suffer those who endanger the flock to remain." There was within the merchant's ledger a clue pertaining to the cursed blades. He asked the Iron Menial to help investigate.
Haven't seen the merchant of late. Do you happen to know anything? Oh, you didn't have to go and... I see. Well, we'll let bygones be bygones, shall we? I won't speak any more on the matter. In any case, it appears as if you have more to say. What's this? A list of transactions. Ah, here. The tome we're looking for. Conveyed to a demon. What on earth could it mean?
The Iron Menial was less than helpful, but the Guardian recalled a creature he and the other Nightfarers had encountered on their many journeys through Limveld. A dark presence in a black robe holding a scale. Perhaps this was the demon the merchant was referring to. After finding him, the Guardian is able to purchase the tome for a significant number of runes and take it back to the Round Table. Unbeknownst to the Avian Knight, this demon is actually the equilibrious beast, Libra, creature of the night. But his defeat would come another day, as the top priority now was to bring the tome to the Iron Menial.
Well, have you retrieved the final volume? Ah, I see. I needn't have asked. Very well. Let us see what it says. It appears the curse itself was brought from afar. Well, Even if we weren't able to unravel the mystery to its fullest extent, you have my deepest gratitude for your efforts. Brave champion.
The tome again held precious little info. Annals detailing the histories of certain cursed weapons speak of a conflict far to the west. An account mentions one such accursed weapon, called an icterus. The blade shared an identical engraving, a symbol of the sorcery of a distant land, a script put down in blood. However, it was enough to make the menial suspicious.
I have a troubling feeling. The curse we spoke of, it may be closer than we think. Or perhaps I'm overthinking things. I dearly hope I am.
This is a memory of the new flock. The third volume collected laid bare the secrets of the cursed weapon known as the icterus. The curse is the product of a sorcery from deep within a distant land, a script put down in blood. The Guardian remembered reading about this particular variety of magic. Knowledge and knowing lead to protection. So he believed, of his knowledge gained under the tutelage of his teacher. The Guardian knew now for certain. He knew now of many stories. The tale of the pack of horses galloping across Windwheel Knoll. The great adventures of the pirates of the coastal waters. The fearsome fellowship. The wandering warrior whose habit was to preserve scenes with ink and brush. And finally, the tale of the witch of the deep woods, who wielded cursed magics. The Guardian has come to truly know each member of his new flock, their hopes, fears, ambitions, but most importantly, their stories. In doing so, he believes he's unraveled the truth of the curse which plagued the old flock. This was his group, and he needed to defend them. This is a memory of the new flock. The Guardian was forced to make a decision for the safety of the flock. Eyes closed as he contemplated matters, someone approached. I do not like to interfere. Across him stood a girl, who seemed more doll than human, the newest feather to find home within the flock. However, I owe the witch a debt. Even with what you now know, it is not too late. And with that she left, leaving behind a scrap of paper. This scrap of paper read, "The Study, third shelf of the rightmost bookcase, a history of the ritual implement known as icterus." It seems as though the truth the Guardian was in search of lay in the round table all along. He discovered the tome the Revenant had led him to, and it read, "Imbued with the magic of a long-lived witch, once used to quell the storm and save lives, but repurposed as a vicious weapon, now used to pluck feathers from the sky and take lives." As it would seem, this weapon stole its power from something else. A fetish created to quell storms, not to harm others. The enemies of the Pinyon Folk had repurposed this magic to serve their ends. Now there was only one question left to answer. Did the Guardian still blame its original creator for bringing this power into the world?
What is it? I see thou hast my role in thy plight deduced. Indeed, I am the one who tore thy kind from the sky. This is a crystallization of that accursed magic. I entrust it to thee. I knew one day it would come to this. Now, do as thou wilt with me. But why? The fault lies with me. For thy peoples, I believe I understand. I will not forget this kindness. My utmost thanks, good Sir Knight.
While the Guardian has a choice to swing his halberd or not, the recluse herself was never in danger. The brooch she hands him upon sparing her tells us more about its power. A brooch imbued with potent magic, made from the blood magic crystal received from the recluse. This brooch powered the accursed Icterus weapons that once robbed the Pinion folk of flight. At first, this magic brooch, with its aura of unknowable power, was intended as a ceremonial tool to calm violent winds. But the war, for better or worse, demanded that it be employed otherwise, as a magic artifact to bring a swift end to the conflict. If we chose to destroy the brooch, the text is a little different. A cracked brooch, bereft of its former magic. A blood magic crystal received from the recluse. This brooch powered the accursed Icterus weapons that once robbed the Pinion folk of flight. The Guardian smashed the jewel at the core of this magic implement. To think, it was once a mere ceremonial tool to calm violent winds. Whether we choose to destroy it or not, the brooch was never meant to be used against the Pinion folk. It was the evil in the hearts of man that drove them to use the power in such a way. And the Guardian would not pretend the recluse was responsible for the actions of his enemies. This is a memory of the new flock. The Guardian could not bring himself to harm the recluse, though she was indeed the one who birthed the curse which wrenched away the wings of his former flock. She was one feather utterly essential to the new. The Guardian weighed both thoughts in his mind. He knew then what it was that he must protect, and as proof of his knighthood, his very resolution, he would don the helm that the giant of a man had mended for his wear. Taking it in hand, the Guardian stepped forth with renewed purpose. The helm the Raider had restored for the Guardian back when their journey began would serve a symbolic purpose. These helmets were worn into battle by the Pinion folk and their flock. By donning it anew, the Guardian was solidifying his acceptance of his new flock. He had a new goal, the destruction of the Night, a new family, and a new history to build. And he would do so by holding his shield steady in the face of the Night and protecting his new flock. Thank you for joining us for the story of the Guardian, the eagle man who lost everything and found a new home and people amongst his fellow Nightfarers. Do you think the Guardian made the right choice in killing the merchant? Do you believe the recluse is responsible for the death of the old flock? Or does the blame lay with those who manipulated her magic? Will the new flock persist beyond the ending of the night? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Watch that button light up as I say like this video, and if you think we've earned it, please subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss out on any of our lore dives. We look forward to seeing you again for more Elden lore.